Hi, this is Marina from Darkstar Astrology bringing you the full moon lunar eclipse on the 16th of May. It will fall at 25 degrees of Scorpio, that's decan 3. The aspect is trine Mars, which is conjunct Neptune, and square Saturn, so a lot going on. The fixed star is Agena, which is the leg of the horse in Centaurus. Tarot card is a 7 of Cups. The healing crystal is malachite with Criscola. I can never say this one. Anyway, it's the blue one. Sabian symbol is American Indians making camp after moving into a new territory. So Agrippa says that Scorpio decan 3 signifies, this is nice, drunkenness, fornication, wrath, violence and strife. And this is supported by my research, which found traumatic events and killers amongst the natives. So that's the bad news. The mysterious and sometimes eerie full moon is bound to emphasize the occult potential of this decan. And this is an eclipse, which means the spooky element will be turbocharged. The good news is that there's also an inordinate amount of talented singers with this placement, and for the most part, they're extremely slinky souls using their serpentine attributes in the most erotic manner possible. Moon-sensitive Scorpio females might find that they just cannot help but become the ultimate femme fatale. On the other hand, males touched by this lunar eclipse could play the typical Don Juan. Both sexes need to watch they don't become too ruthless in the quest of bedding the object of their desire. This full moon lunar eclipse position could almost be too cartoon-like in its potential to produce scoundrels. Yet the copious amount of artistry also stirred up by this bittersweet Lunar cannot be ignored. So Austin Kopok says those with their moon in Scorpio decan 3 feel much of what others refuse to and are open to states which most repress in themselves. As a result, they have an emotional range that many lack and are often quite sensitive, with many evidencing intuitive and psychic ability. So, close quote. So we could find ourselves looking at the dark side of excess, with prominent people in the news behaving in quite a lewd manner. It's just debauchery, isn't it? So this lunar eclipse in Scorpio 3 will open our eyes further to the degeneracy in the world, if they weren't open enough already. And it is only after the stench of putrefaction is revealed that a new dawn is possible. It's interesting that director Stanley Kubrick had his moon in Scorpio 3. His prophetic films show only too well what happens when people willfully keep their eyes wide shut. So let's look at the chart, because wow, there's lots going on. There's so much plugging into that moon. It is obviously a full moon, but it's squared by Saturn. There you go. And also, because it's an eclipse, you've got the nodes with it as well. So this has got a really karmic, important feel. So any event that happens around this lunar eclipse, especially if I think if it's to do with love, relationships, especially the ones that are to do with not being able to resist temptation, forbidden relationships, affairs, those kind of things, sexual relations that are like, well, it's like sex addiction really, because Mars and Neptune together, that's, especially in Pisces, oh my God, that's really obsessive, and it's in Pisces, and it's also where, Mars is basically taking the place of Jupiter. Jupiter's not far away either, so it's kind of igniting the whole Jupiter Neptune gurus thing, but also other things are going on as well at the same time. Jupiter is square Ceres, so that's kind of abundance, and it can be an abundance of fertility, it could be abundance of lust, because they're in Aries. Jupiter's in Aries, only just got into Aries, and then Ceres is in Cancer, which is another cardinal sign. So they're pretty, passionate there. What else have we got? So then there's the Neptune is trining the moon, Mars is trining the moon, and so if you've got anything at 25 Scorpio, you're getting it. You're getting it all. And same with on the other side. Now, if you've got anything, the empty leg of this is 25 Scorpio. So that's going to all impact anything at 25 Scorpio as well. And then on the opposite, poor old Aquarius have got Saturn on there anyway. But I think maybe it'll diffuse some of the Saturn heaviness, with everything else going on. Just be very eventful, I think, for all of those fixed signs, really. So if you go through the aspects, you can kind of get an idea of the energy. So Moon square Saturn is the trapped kid. Marilyn Monroe had this, by the way. Moon trine Mars is passion fruit. So yeah, there's the passion. Moon trine Neptune is musical romance. So you could have a crush on some no good musician. No, they're all right. They're not all reefer madness. As that film in the 60s anyway. Sun square Saturn is Doctor Who, the Time Lord, the Traveller. Sun sextile Mars is To Boldly Go. So yeah, get your Captain Kirks. And Sun sextile Neptune is Misty Musical. So musicals again. And Mars conjunct Neptune is Spiritual Warrior. I've decided to call that one. So I redid that post, so you can read the new version. It's all updated. Yes, Ceres square Jupiter is overconsumption. So you can kind of see that you can get carried away with the passion of something, get carried away with a romance. It might not be, just keep your feet on the ground. I'm not saying that any fairy, all fairy tale romances are something to be wary of, but I'm just a bit of a skeptic with Neptune. But maybe it's because I've got Saturn all over me. So it's going to make me set boundaries, and any Aquariuses are going to be like that anyway. So I'm just warning the rest of you, But if you're an artist, if you're someone who's a musician as well, one that isn't just a reefer madness, one that just one that can actually look after themselves, isn't like a penniless musician sponging off people and sleeping on their sofas. Then this should be very helpful for you and very inspiring. It is the eclipse for being a muse, definitely muse. But I called it Wild and Wanton because it just is, So yeah, drunkenness, fornication, Scorpio Decan 3. What can I say? So yeah, I'll just touch on the Sabian symbol and we'll go into it in more detail later on. But I thought, this is all about taming wanton nature, really, because, yes, American Indians making camp after moving into a new territory. So the meaning of this, according to James Burgess, is try though we may, we cannot tame nature, nor ever will. And eventually we succumb to its ways and powers. Yet we can learn through this by observing it and tuning into it how to adapt comfortably to all situations. So it is basically surfing. It's surfing the waves and learning to navigate through its twists and turns and plot twists and whatever dramas are going on around you. Because that's the thing, Saturn is going to try and impose restrictions, really, and set boundaries, but it's kind of hard to... You can't be too rigid either. You have to sort of adapt with it and go with the flow. So it's getting that balance. So there's Saturn in the, squaring this eclipse, trying to say, take, be vigilant, be prudent, take care, set boundaries and set your limits. Don't go crazy. Control the physical impulses to be debaucherous and and say no to the forbidden fruit if you can. But then you see, like, a little bite of it might be inspiring. So, it's everything in moderation, maybe. So let's look at the tarot card. I think this really goes well with Scorpio Decan 3. Oh my God. It's that hideous card. The Seven of Cups, where he's just standing in front of all these like weird objects. You've got like a serpent coming out of a cup and a ghost, just like weird things. And he can't really, choose between all of them. So, now both Venus and the Moon are rulers of this decan, and they're both reflective and passive planets as well. And that resonates well with the card's meaning. So the meaning is, as he stands mesmerized in front of the Seven Cups, he realizes he has much to contemplate and reflect on. You could be attending counseling or psychotherapy sessions to help expose hidden motives and overcome childhood conditioning to expose your true personality. Then again, you may also be using meditation or reading self-help books in an attempt to find your true self. So yeah, it's kind of like, it is like being your own therapist, really. So let's look at the fixed star. Now, technically it is actually closest to Alpha Lupus, which is in the wolf, but we can't really ignore Agena because that's at 23 degrees. And where is this again? Yeah, I mean, it's close, 25. So I would count it because it's one of the brightest stars in the sky. The 10th actually brightest, and it gives position, friendship, refinement, morality, health and honor. Hooray, we need some positive sides to this. So according to Robson, it is generally considered a successful star depending on the planet it conjuncts. But with the moon here, we have strong passions. Centaurus, in general, though, mirrors the effect of Chiron. Manalis says that this influence gives the ability to foresee an illness in a body not yet conscious of its sickness. That's interesting. So it's a healing one as well. There's also the ability to prophesy. So here's the meaning, though, of Agena with the moon. Sarcasm and bitter speech, strong passions. Okay, so it's got an edge. It's bittersweet, I guess. Now, Bernadette Brady says to enjoy the ordinary things of life, sport, TV, daily papers. That sounds a bit boring, doesn't it? And to work hard. I mean, is that the ordinary things of life? I mean, I don't really do any of them, but then I'm not really ordinary, am I? Anyway, so yeah, maybe it's good just to do. Sometimes it's maybe just good to just be like, if you're a mental conspiracy theorist like I am, maybe it is good just to do things what normal people do. I don't know, go and play table tennis or something, or pool in a pub, down to earth things, go fishing. I don't know. Anyway, so maybe maybe her definition of the ordinary things in life to me is like walking the dog or something. I don't know. Anyway, to work hard or receive the help of another in order to gain an education. Okay. Or to improve one's life, to help others advance who are marginalised. And then just generally the compassionate individual wins the day. All right, so that's Agena. So it's two very different interpretations, but we have to look at both. I think if you mix Agena with a Sabian symbol as well, I think it would be like helping people to adapt, to handle change when people are going through transitions in their life as well. Okay, let's see if we can tease a bit more out of this Sabian symbol because it's a little bit puzzling. Okay, so it's technically Scorpio 26. We go to the next degree. So what does she say? Good old Linda Hill. That's it. I keep forgetting her surname. Anyway, so she says, oh, interesting. Keywords, settling in, walk-ins, having to learn the rules of being in a new environment, tents, shelter, reservations, setting up camp, going for a walk, squatters. The caution, moving into or invading others' territory, putting up with things when you should move on, feeling invaded, kicking people out because they don't fit in or don't belong, segregation. So those are the negatives. But yeah, I mean, she sort of takes the sort of immigration, illegal alien side of this, really. Oh, I like this quote by George Carlin. Some national parks have long waiting lists for camping reservations. When you have to wait a year to sleep next to a tree, something is wrong. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think the overall feel is adapting to the land. That's what it is for me, I think, really. And yeah, I like James Burgess's take on it actually a bit more. Because he's not taking it so literally, it's more to do with what the meaning behind the symbol is. But then it may also be saying we cannot tame our sexual nature, or what's the word? We can't tame our urges. We have to face the fact that we're still animals and we do have those base cravings, and we can, they'll always be there. We have to accept that. But I think you can't let them just rage as well. You have to, we're not complete savages. And that's one of the key meanings of Chiron as well, was that he was the only centaur that wasn't like a drunken, crazed one, he learned to control his passions, and it doesn't mean controlling them doesn't mean suppressing them. It means steering it, so that it goes in the area you want it to go. So it's not getting rid of them. It's just not letting it control you. You steer the beast. You don't have the beast steering you. Because, there are people who have this huge, passionate relationship with someone, and it's very based. It's very based chakra rooted in that. So, but this person could be a horrible, nasty person, and sex without love is totally toxic. So, I mean, I'm not one of these people that, you can kid yourself and say, oh, but it's tantric and it's sacred sex and it's sex magic and it's all these things. But I don't know. I think that's just kidding yourself. So the delusion of if somebody is craving you sexually, but then they can't sit down and have a conversation with you afterwards, well, that's alarm bells should be ringing there. And it's weird when there is that disconnect as well. It is strange. It's strange where you can have this with friendships as well, where what kind of bonds you together is an addiction. So you both smoke reefer madness. I don't know why this is coming to my head all the time, together. But then if one of you gives up, then the friendship just falls apart because it hasn't got that. So there's that. So it's not just in sexual relationships, it can be just with actual friendships as well. So you have to look at these kind of friendships of addiction. Yeah, I think that's the Ceres square Jupiter, the overconsumption bit. And some people I've noticed, I've seen like a very old friendship of two people who were both alcoholics, but then when they both stopped drinking, it turned into quite a nice spiritual connection. So you can sort of transmute it. And I think when that happens, you can see that there's a soul connection there. Okay, so before I finish, let's look at the malachite with chrysocolla crystal. Okay. I mean, I picked this because I just love the combination of these two together. They just look so nice. So the malachite is characterized by the light green eye-shaped bands. And in ancient times, eye stones were believed to enhance the ability to see into the future. And historically, they served as stones of safety and protection for children. And today they're famous due to their ability to warn of impending danger by shattering into pieces. So they're kind of like evil eye stones in a way. So moonrise crystals say Criscola malachite combines the bold, dynamic energy of the green malachite with the serene and balanced energy of the blue chrysocolla. Together, they teach us to honor our own unique spiritual path while allowing other people to choose the path that suits them best. And if they want to go down the addiction path, that's up to them. Anyway, so back to the quote. It takes away any fear we have about being spiritually separated from our loved ones and helps us to trust the divine is lovingly watching all of us. It's a phenomenal stone for connecting to earth goddess energy and attracting nature spirits, including fairies, elves, and divas. Nice. So yeah. So my main picture, I think she looks like a bit of a wood nymph. But it's funny, the whole thing about nymphs and their connotations in the sort of sexual side. But then they're also kind of these forces of nature as well. So yes, wild and wanton. I think that's quite fitting for this lunar eclipse. So also what I like, why I thought was suitable as well, all this kind of like nature spirit thing, which fits with the Native American as well, is the fact that in order for a lunar eclipse to happen, it's the Earth that comes between the sun and the moon. So it's the Earth that makes the shadow on the moon, and it's preventing obviously it's preventing the moon from being a full moon. So it's a kind of unification of the Earth and the moon. So it's super matrix. It's super feminine, really. And super Earth spirit as well. Gaia, very much Gaia. So I guess you could kind of say it was ultra materialistic as well. So what I've been getting into lately is alchemy and the meaning. It's just weird how the woman is the matrix, the mother is material, is more materialistic than the male, who is spirit, who's the sky god. And why is that? Why are women so connected to the earth, but at the same time they're also, this is the negative side of being too earthy, is because then you can become too materialistic. So there's always that balance, and it's always being, in the cycles of the year, it's always being refined. It's always giving us a opportunity to balance and what is the word? Recalibrate. That's the thing. So eclipses are kind of like zapping the pram that you do with the computer, or just recalibrating, I think is a better word for it. So so this is a really good eclipse for calibrating, and we can use the crystal for that as well, because it's got that nice balance of the dynamic energy and the sort of calmer energy as well. And that's what it's all about. It's all about balance. An eclipse gives us the opportunity to see that in action as well. All right then, so that brings me to the end. What have I got anything new to shill? I'm doing, because of this new alchemy thing, I've now started just doing alchemy t-shirts on my Etsy shop, so I'll leave the link below. And I'm just reworking. They're not really my own designs, but they are but I've reworked them because I just love the old medieval ones. Some of them are medieval. Well, they're not really medieval, not all of them, but some of them are 18th century, but they still have that kind of medieval look about them. So yeah, I'm reworking those and sticking them on t-shirts. So yeah, there's a link below, and I'll probably put a sample on the screen as well. All right then, so take care. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.